everything they have left to get in this early game.
Yeah, really nice job there from Mr. Sneaky's Chicon, still getting beat up there in the solo lane. They need to get something on the opposite side of the map as Alfie right now. Alfie is an absolute raid boss, 2 levels up on Jigon. What do? You have to go to the other side of the map. So they're doing a nice job making sure this doesn't get completely out of control across the map. Applause to the crew for that invade there.
Absolutely. When things are going wrong on one side, how do you stabilize? Go to the other. It's one of the most simple things you can do, and it's always effective. Drew's Food taking a lot of damage here, able to get in onto the Chernabog, ult out from the Terra. Going to be enough to cause a disengage of Drew's Food here. So the Earthen Fury, enough for a disengage from the crew. Don't want to fight in the middle of that. Skunk being looked at by the Horus. Yet again, good damage out of the cleave. Is it going to be enough? Are we going to see a knock-up as Mr. Sneaky is able to take down Scythro in mid? Drew's Food with a good disengage for him. And the Uhl is Alfie.
Oh my gosh.
Alfie, yet another kill onto Jigon in the solo lane. Solo lane's doing solo things. Is Mr. Sneaky going to get some good damage onto Valo? Valo going to dash through with the ultimate. Valo thinks he's got the fight. Sneaky definitely doesn't have the mana for it. Valo chasing down Sneaky, but Alfie in for the assist here. Is he going to be able to chase down Valo? Valo running away. Drew's Food able to ult over, but it doesn't look like there's enough gap closure here. Valo able to get on the horse in the nick of time, and not enough damage to take out that shield. Able to get away. Both junglers going to be safe after that engagement.
Yeah, as we were watching the fight in left lane, so much action happening across the map here. You look at mid lane, Scythro, which is a deep sea call up for the King's Court, gets the solo kill on Ayabusha, but Mr. Sneaky doesn't take that as nothing, as we see the BDK has been taken by the crew. Mr. Sneaky returns the kill onto Scythro, making sure that, you know, he can't farm everything on the map while Ayabusha's dead.
Ulting through Jigon. Jigon trying to give his jungler some space, and now a 4-on-2. They're going to take Jigon. Scythro with the kill there. Mr. Sneaky just trying to sneak away, but it won't be enough. Never mind, they're going to disengage under the tower. The Terra taking a lot of damage from these tower shots. Medusa rotating over as well. A good heal keeps Terra alive, but not for long. Oh, the petrifying gaze will stone Terra. And Scythro walking away, but Valo is going to enter the fray. Valo getting stunned off the horse, knocked up. Scythro will find Ayabusha, and Drew's Food should go down shortly hereafter. But never mind. Yet another entry. Drew's Food will still fall, but the jungler makes their return. Mr. Sneaky getting bursted down. Scythro with so much damage. Jigon returns to the fight after dying first. An entire minute-long fight. King's Court will finally disengage in a fight that went 3 kills to 1, excuse me, for them. What a fight for the King's Court.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a long fight, too. I mean, Alfie started that engagement with his ult, and his ult's back up now. So those kills, I'm interested to see what that leads to for the King's Court. Will it lead to a little bit of rotation ability from Alfie to go toward this Gold Fury? Does it just lead to more fighting? Should be interesting looking forward in this game with TKC being up almost 3k gold at this point in the game.
It looks like the Kukulkan actually was able to use that time that Alfie spent chasing people down and in their jungle to, once he got back up, try and get into this game a little bit, because he went from being 3 levels down to 2 levels down here.
That's fair. So as we see that ult coming out here from Ayabusha, very interesting, trying to get Valo down.
I was about to say, Drew's Food with the knock-up. Catfish trying to chase down Ayabusha some more. And good ward control for the King's Court here, really pushing their wards forward and taking control of the map quite well. Drew's Food trying to wrap around behind. Not going to find much here, and a great dash from Skunk to evade that stun from Drew's Food, as Drew's Food going to have to fly back to Uhl. And we get a bit of a slow moment here. So where do you think that the crew, never mind the re-engage, Nature's Fury has to be burned by Catfish. And oh my, the moment I say something slow, it heats right back up. Drew's Food covering the purple buff here as Skunk, or Skunk, I don't mind which, there's a lot of U's in that name. The ult away from the horse? Ult over to the mid lane. Batman trying to leap away, but there's just too much pressure. Valo going to find a kill. The rotation from Alfie, phenomenal. Jigen unable to find a route in Valo, Alfie, Skunk. It's just all five trying to run this man down. Poor man has not had anything going his way. Jigen going to have to back here, and the King's Court get a moment to try and take the Gold Fury. In the meantime, Ayabusha gets absolutely melted down. Valo and Scythro teaming up for that one. Mr. Sneaky is going to find Valo, but it doesn't matter. Drew's Food going to fall in exchange. Yes, you'll give your support for a kill on anyone else any day, but 2 for 1, still not worth it, especially when the Gold Fury is going to go down too. But is it going to go down to the King's Court? Should here, now that Alfie has forced everyone away. And so you get a final result of a 2 for 1 trade for the King's Court, but the King's Court also get the Gold Fury. Definitely a win if you're the King's Court.
Hilariously enough, Mechanics, I was about to talk about how the actual lead in this game, or the factor back into the game, was Batman. Batman had a 2-level lead over Skunk. And as I was about to say that, and you were about to say, you know, the action slowing down, 5 members of TKC come over and absolutely obliterate Batman, and that leads to the Gold Fury on the back of it, extending that lead for TKC to 4K. And now we see that there's still a 2-level lead over there in the ADC role, but the gold should be about even between the two of them.
Gold should be about even indeed, and we see as far as the XP per minute chart, red net. There's the net worth chart, and indeed you've got Uul sitting at 7K, 7.3K, and you've got the Chernobog sitting at 6.8, 6.9 now. Drew's Food may want to think about leaving this duo lane and letting his Uul take all the farm, just keeping ahead at this rate.
It's tough though, because where's he actually going to go? As we see a little engagement here on Mr. Sneaky.
Mr. Sneaky able to sneak away from the ult from Valo. Valo has to get off the horse here. A lot of damage coming his way, but Catfish taking Sneaky down. Drew's Food barely able to escape with his own ultimate. And Batman looking to leap over a wall, but there's nothing more to do in that fight. Ayabusha getting run down by the Terra right now. Some really good damage coming into the Terra, actually. As Alfie going to steal the red buff and is behind the Medusa, running through the tower, looking for the ultimate, gets the ultimate down, not going to be able to do much more than that. Ayabusha running into the enemy jungle, blinks away. That was a blink out of Ayabusha, but Valo going to run Ayabusha down through it. Drew's Food just trying to get away, able to fly to the minions just in time to avoid death. Sneaky going to sneak into the tower, but not so stealthy as he gets stunned, pulled in. Tower will fall in mid anyway, and the disengage called for by the crew, and everything is falling to pieces for the Order side team.
Yeah, and that'll lead, on the back of that, they get the tower, and that'll lead to a Pyromancer for the King's Court, giving them more pressure for these towers with the bomb in hand. I was shocked, Mechanics. Did that Medusa blink? What? What are we doing here? That's crazy. But he did snake away a lot. So, very interesting engagement. I love to see this kind of Smite. How exciting is QSL Smite this season?
I want to remind everybody that this is the Abyss division. So these are the players we're expecting know the most about this meta, or have experimented the most at the very least. As Chernobog going to push this lane, and I'm assuming look for a rotation at this rate.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, he can rotate at any moment, right? He could just go into his ult and end up anywhere on the map. Alfie, I don't think he knows that Mr. Sneaky's here. He's sneaking. I
Uh,
don't I don't think he cares.
Alfie doesn't appear to care here. Alfie getting pushed back a little bit, but Sneaky going to be pulled into the tower. A lot of damage coming out from Jigan as well. Good damage coming out from Alfie, but it won't be enough except for the tower able to clean up the kill for him. Alfie going to get credited with that kill, and Drew going to bring minions forward. They're trying to take this tower quickly, but Valo going to rotate on in. And Catfish is here too, and
Skunk's here.
makes his face known. Drew's Food going to fly into the cripple field, unable to get that heal down. Jigan will fall, and Drew's Food shortly thereafter. No one in that lane remains alive for the crew. King's Court, they only lost Alfie.
Yeah, 3-level lead in jungle, 3-level lead in mid now. The kill on Alfie meant a lot, which is why they expended so much to do it. Alfie having that massive bounty on his head, being 5-0. Oh, Hayabusa gets deleted by Valo, and this fire giant is burning here. I don't think that the crew can do anything.
Beads. Batman has to expend the Aegis. Batman has to expend his life. Valo going to find a kill on Batman. Meanwhile, King's Court are looking at the fire giant. Sneaky going to get in. King's Court will get the fire giant anyway. I don't think Sneaky gets out of here. Looking around, looking for an escape. The roof, the damage is there. Scythe throw will find Sneaky. 5 strong are the King's Court with fire giant around their waist.
And we should see a lot of towers fall down with this fire giant. I don't think they try to end or get a Phoenix, but I think every tower should go down. And let's look at this mid Phoenix.
Mid tower falls there. 3 towers remain standing for the crew. Ooh. And indeed, King's Court, they look for the Phoenix. They enter the Phoenix line, and now the crew are getting pushed away entirely. Valo running down the mid laner. Valo not going to be able to get out of that one. Batman will find a good stun and return onto Valo. King's Court able to get the Phoenix anyway. Great damage coming out of Scythe throw. Great healing too. Able to keep the team alive. Batman's going to fall. And now the crew, they're running back, but Jigan, low health, Sneaky, deleted. And now the Medusa, the Horus, the Kukulin have to stay alive here. But that's 4 with fire. But they're going to have to disengage. There's no way they can take out the Titan yet. But the Medusa almost killed. In return, however, Scythro may have given their life away, but no! The King's Court, they return to the defense of their mid laner, and they will pick up Drew's Food instead. What is these fights?
There's just so much healing from the side of the King's Court. They have Fire Giant, which will help them. They have the Eggshell healing. They have the Terra healing. They have Terra ult. They have Mulan 2, which heals enough in its own right. Everything on the side of the King's Court does so much to keep them sustained in these fights, and they just keep rolling over targets, and the crew just keeps falling down. And
Alfie looking for a stun, gets it on to Hayabusa again. Good damage out from her too. Val chasing down the Medusa, able to pick up the kill. Yet again, Hayabusa just a little too far up. Mr. Sneaky looking for an escape, unable to find it. Scythro going to pick up the kill there in mid as well. And almost could have been turned on there, but as they're running away, not going to be able to find Skunk, and the King's Court make out with another 2 kills like bandits in the night.
Yeah, without question. And it seems like they might be done with their aggression with this Fire Giant. Maybe they're going to look for all the buffs. They're going to look for maybe another T2. But in that engagement, they ended up with so many kills. I don't even know how many kills it was, Mechani. So many kills. They ended up with a mid-Phoenix, which I didn't even think was possible. So many things happening on the side of the King's Court. This game
is going to be another tower, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Skunk is eating the tower.
So, for reference, that was 10 kills, 2 towers, and 1 Phoenix out of one 17-minute Fire Giant. Never mind, that could be another. Hayabusa has to dash away. The crew can't step up beyond their Phoenix line without getting ambushed from every single direction right now.
Now, oh, and more aggression onto this Medusa. Medusa's just trying to find farm, Valo.
Medusa just trying to find farm. Medusa instead going to find death, potentially. Valo running through. Good damage.
Ooh.
Valo going to find Hayabusa again. This Medusa is not allowed to play.
Valo is just finding any target that he possibly can, and another tower going down for the side of the King's Court. Valo maybe getting a little too aggressive there, going down himself, but maybe they get this Phoenix as well, as we see
Jigan getting caught in the Earthen Fury, as Alfie going to get stunned here by Drew's Food, but the Phoenix going to fall. The most important Phoenix, the Duocide Phoenix, going to be the one to fall. Deleted. Drew's Food gone. Jigan looking for a defense, unable to find it, pulled it back in, and it looks like the crew's time in this game might be expiring faster than we thought. However, Jigan able to put up some pressure, finds Skunk, and now the crew are pushing forward, looking for Catfish. But in mid, they're pushing for that Phoenix. Jigan the only one defending, and that Phoenix is going to fall. Ooh, Medusa, they're still chasing the Terra. What about Jigan? What about the Titan? Batman and Hayabusa are chasing a support through the jungle. In the meantime, 2 birds are down.
absolutely insane Fire Giant for the King's Court. Even after Fire Giant was expired, they were going for the end, Mechanis. How do you, what do you even do now that you're, 12k down, 2 Phoenixes down if you're the crew? I don't even know where to begin.
If you're the crew, the only real thing you've got left here is you have to defend alongside Titan, and Hayabusa steps too far up. We've played this song and dance multiple times in this game. Horus is going to try and ult Hayabusa away, but there's just not enough health in that pool. As Batman is a little bit pushed up, and now the King's Court are taking it as an opportunity to go get another Fire Giant. Another pre-30-minute Fire Giant here for the King's Court, and this one should fall their way. One of the things I'd like to bring up and kind of answer your question here, now that we have a moment, as the crew decide to go ahead and try and take Oni Fury. Really, the crew here, I like this trade for them. You kind of have to at least try and get this other objective. You should be able to burn it and get back. They might take your Phoenix here for it, but you need to get that objective. You need to get these Oni waves matching their fire waves. A. B. Defend your Titan. That's the only thing you're allowed to do in this game anymore. Hayabusa, not even allowed to step up farm. Nope, the only farm you're getting is what comes to Titan room. That's the state of the game for the crew.
And that's kind of how it's been a lot of the game for Hayabusa. He's just looking for farm here, looking for farm there, but Valo not letting him really do anything. And Scythro, Ixchel has enough damage to kill you at any moment. So I think they're just going to take this Phoenix now.
Under the Phoenix. Valo looking for members, finds all 3 of the backliners. Valo going to find Hayabusa. Valo going to find Drew's Food. Valo going to find a double side throw with another kill. And now it's 2 versus the world. Never mind. They get them all. King's Court are going to win game 1 in dominating fashion. With a
absolutely insane game here. The first game of the season in the Quack and Smite League. 2 fantastic teams. King's Court comes out on top. What a game.
Might I point out that the King's Court had exactly 5 times the kills of the crew. That was a 35-7 finish.
Oh, Mechanis, that game was insane. I think that maybe if you're the crew, you need to find some way to end up with more pressure in mid going into game number 2. Whatever you have to do, if you have to have an earlier game jungler, which I think might be the key, have an earlier game jungler and try to apply pressure onto Scythro, make him a little uncomfortable. Like I said, he is the one that has been called up today for this Abyss game. He's normally a deep sea player, and he did phenomenally in that game.
Without a doubt. I mean, 10-1 and 10 slash line speaks for itself. E-Shell able to put out a lot of damage and a lot of healing. And I mean, it really helps when your jungler goes 13 and 4 out of the jungle and just completely neuters the ability of the other mid laner to even play the game. 1 and 11 was Ayabusha, but how many of those deaths came at a point where it really didn't matter. Ayabusha is just trying to farm.
I would say the majority of them. I don't think there was a lot of mid lane kills there in the early game, but going into game 2, I guess we'll see what the crew comes up with. I'm excited for game number 2 here, Mechanics.
Without a doubt. King's Court take game 1 in dominating fashion. Will the crew find an answer to the King's Court in game 2? Stay with us and you'll find out. Hello, everybody, and welcome to game 2 of what should be a little bit more competitive set than what we saw in game 1. Mechani's Cadesis back with the King Cooter as we get ready for game 2. And what do you think the crew can clean up for game 1 besides everything?
No, let's not go to that extreme. Everything else that you didn't mention, I think, is good. Um, so so I think that you definitely have to throw a lot of bans at the jungle if you're the crew, and I think that I think I said that at the end of game 1. So forgive me, but I think you need more pressure from your jungler in the early game. So as we head into P's and B's, let's see if I'm right. Let's see what they're doing.
Without a doubt, something we didn't get to see in game 1 was the bans from these two teams. So I guess we get to see how game 1 impacts their bans, at least for game 2. Excuse me.
Yeah, I would imagine that there were standard picks and bans in game number 1. So we see the first ban coming out is Thoth. Naturally, Thoth was really good in the previous patch, wasn't touched. The health numbers changed. Thoth's still good, right? So I'm not surprised to see that to be taken away.
Thoth's still incredibly good, and one of the things we talked about with Horus was that penetration, the ability to get rid of a lot of those prots, as the crew are going to go ahead and top ban Velos Lancelot. Gonna go ahead and respect the pick there. Thor banned out as well. Shang-Ah banned by the King's Court as these teams are flying through the P's and B's. King's Court going to ban the Giannis, another penetration specialist, as we've been discussing. And the Kamazot's banned by the crew. Very safe pick out of the jungle or solo lane is that one. All three of those, if you really want to look at it this way, are bans toward both the solo laner and the jungler, as Medusa is going to get picked up by the King's Court, and I'm finally allowed to breathe.
Yeah, I think the crew did a nice job there banning 3 gods that could go in either role, but 3 gods that allow Valo to do Valo things. Start early game, kill people, make impact on it with his abilities for his team. Very nice job by the crew adjusting for game 2. The Medusa taken away by the King's Court. If you remember, the crew had that in mid in game number 1.
Yes, but the crew, it looks like, have a 4th and 5th ban of their own, taking the Terra and the Mulan away.
Smart from them. I mean, they saw game 1, what happened with those 2 gods, and you want to try to replicate it. It's very smart.
Agni and Osiris, the picks out of the King's Court, and considering what we saw out of Mulan and Terra and their ability to sustain, Osiris going to be a massive threat to that. Anyone he lands on that ultimate, of course, being denied all of any healing they would gain for any reason, as Daji being not just hovered but locked in by the crew as a CC jungler stan. I love it.
Especially into Agni. I mean, again, the crew just doing the thing that they definitely need to do. They're putting pressure on that mid lane. Agni, no CC immunity in his kit, so he's going to have to expend those beads a ton to try to not die to this Daji in the early game, in the mid game. Nice job by the crew as they ban another jungle pick away from Valo as they take away Ravana.
Are we sure that Valo isn't just taking the Osiris here, though, as Scylla banned away by the King's Court? So they're definitely looking toward mid laners, considering that's 4 mage bans.
It's 4 very bursty mages, too. All 4 of those gods can absolutely 100 to 0 you, no questions asked. So I think they're trying to make sure that that does not occur going into this game number 2. Gods that can avoid damage very easily, but can also burst you at the same time. And now we have Vulcan. I'm surprised Vulcan wasn't taking Mechanics in the top 3.
Speaking about bursters, hi Vulcan. No, but I mean, if you look at the other side, the crew trying to alleviate a lot of that either jungle or solo presence, as if you look at all 5 of their picks, or their bans, excuse me, Lancelot, Thor, Kamazotz, Ravana, Erlang Shen, all 5 are viable as both solo laners and junglers. And now the crew going to select Rom, while on the other side, the King's Court are hovering Muzenkab?
That can't be real. That can't be real. There's no way. I wonder if that might be going in the jungle. I don't know. I don't see where it fits. I don't know.
It's so crazy. I wonder if Raptor is trolling us from production.
He has to be.
It's that crazy. For reference, our production is trying to point out it is a real hover. I just don't know if I believe it.
I don't know. He might not. He might be lying to us. I'm not sure. I mean, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere for this AMC to go. I don't know. But the Rama was picked on the side of the crew, which really tells me that they're trying to get in there. Terra, a support who really likes to get in and try to aggress on the backline of the King's Court, right? Rama can affect that dive with his ult. Daji, same idea. Likes to get in there. Mulan likes to get in there.
As Tsukiyomi now the hover for the King's Court. We're looking at Tsukiyomi AMC hovers as it looks like they've changed their hover to Geb. And Kabrakan?
Now that could be a Kabrakan jungle, and that could be spicy, Mechanis. Spicy. That god can one-shot people.
He's known as Kabroken for a reason, and the Kabroken will be selected alongside Athena. Oh no, that could be Doomsday.
It could be. I mean, that team's gonna do a lot of burst damage. The red flag for me has to be all of these picks into this Daji. The Daji's going to get a lot of value onto these picks.
Without a doubt, Osiris and Athena actually have some good value here, as Persephone going to be the last selection in this game out of the crew. So another really high CC ultimate for this team. But I want to kind of transition back over into the King's Court draft. They have a lot of good bursts if they can land it. They have a lot of good survivability if they don't get CC'd.
Exactly.
The play of this Daji can make or break the game here for the crew.
And that's fair. If you have Mr. Sneaky on your team, like the crew does, you kind of want to get him involved. Fantastic player, fantastic jungler. So if he can execute on all the things that he needs to execute on in this game, which I guess the Persephone pick kind of helps with that, getting more CC immunity out from the King's Court, you kind of want that from Mr. Sneaky, right?
I feel like I definitely agree with you here. That's got to be the idea, because Perseph, that ultimate, if she throws it from Fountain, assuming there was no wall, obviously, that thing would fly all the way down mid lane to the other Fountain. Again, assuming there was no wall.
It's true. It is true.
So, that's a lot. We're talking about Mercury levels of engage here. Except, unlike Mercury, she doesn't have to put herself out of position for it.
It is true. And it's just surprising to me. I haven't seen any use from Persephone in a long time. I haven't seen it played in this patch much either. So seeing that pick locked in, I'm excited to see what the Persephone does, other than just burn beads for Daji.
So I feel like the Persephone definitely has to be a beads burner here if the pick is going to be successful. But it's worth mentioning that Persephone does bring a lot of really good damage. It's just not burst damage. She sends her flowers at you. She sets up an entire farm of flowers and then throws the flowers at you, and those are supposed to be what kills you. Her abilities all set up a whole bunch of flowers or send flowers or, all that. But outside of like the one ability where she actually just throws a seedling out there and it plants itself once it either hits something or hits its max range, she doesn't have a lot of damage outside of autoing her seeds.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how Ayabusha assuming that that's going to mid lane. How Hayabusa plays the Persephone. Very interesting, and this is definitely a huge dive comp from the crew, without question. So,
without a doubt. And I mean, we talk about with Upwash, which was a hover a moment ago, as far as why I'm bringing that back up. But with Upwash, one of the biggest things you talk about is zone control, right? The empty the crypts, the ability to just control an entire area with one ability. You could argue that Persephone does exactly that with her passive.
That's true. That's true. If she gets plants in the right spot, it could be good. But I suppose that we'll see in this game too how everything goes for both of these teams. I'm excited. Are you excited, Mechanics? I am. With everything with this draft, I'm excited.
We see a double guardian warrior draft out of one of the teams. Oh, of course I'm excited. You've got a support player, a guardian player right here looking to watch these two guardians pop off. I am rooting for that. Like, I get, again, I pointed out earlier, Cabrakan, we call him Cabroken for a reason, and it's because he breaks people. That god is broken.
I don't know that I consider him a guardian, Mechanics. I don't know. He kind of does mage damage.
He kind of does assassin damage with a guardian passive and guardian levels of crowd control. He just has it all. Can we just point out that Cabrakan just kind of has it all?
True. What else would you want? Perfect.
What I would want is to get on going into game 2 to see how the King's Court and the crew go ahead and handle this set, as it is indeed a Cabroken jungle. Oh boy, Spice has been engaged.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think Valo on this pick could be absolutely massive, but a thing that I want to think about here as we're headed into 0 seconds is last game the King's Court duo lane was behind, right? They did not have a ton of pressure. The ADC ended up 2 levels behind. I'm interested to see if the crew can take advantage of that. Maybe pull an early Gold Fury if it happens again. Or if the King's Court makes an adjustment to make sure that lane isn't absolutely getting murdered like last game.
I feel like when you have a lane that is Athena Medusa, you've probably made that adjustment. Come level 5, that's a bit of a terrifying combo.
No pun intended with Terra on the other side. Absolutely terrifying. We see Alfie here.
Terra may not need to be terrified. Alfie running at Jigun. Jigun just barely getting in the tower. And Alfie going to take that trade all day long. Batman, a lot of damage. Skunk nearly puts Batman in the grave. As now we have fighting over in duo. And Terra going to put even more damage down onto the Medusa. Able to make sure that neither of these hunters feel comfortable in that lane. Scythro going to dash away. Skunk in a lot of trouble. Skunk taunt is good, and King's Court going to be able to get their ADC out. No first blood just yet. Jigen just trying to stay alive over in solo, trying to farm as much as he can. This already looks like a repeat of game 1 for the solo laner. Valo making a rotation to solo. This could be a kill. Jigen, however, sees it. And so instead, it's just going to be a little bit of farm going Valo's way. Maybe even helping out Jigen if Valo's not careful about that farm.
Yeah, interesting from Skunk to see him have 2 of these multi-pots. Whereas the other side, you see that Batman only had 1 multi-pot going into lane. Suppose it's the difference between the 2 characters, but Truce Food eats a lot of poke there too.
Drew's Food eats a significant amount of poke. Probably gonna have to put up a monolith here soon. Drew's Food staying around. Could be a taunt out of Catfish. Drew's Food staying close, able to be is slapped by the shield wall. Taunt down. Skunk going to find the kill on Drew's Food. And Batman just able to slink away, but that will be first blood to the King's Court dual lane. As we just talked about, pretty sure that problem is solved when we have Athena and Medusa on the same team.
Without question. Drew's Food getting a little greedy for the Jimmy or Mr. Zatman over there in the duo lane. Wants it so bad that it cost him his life there trying to get it. Little greedy.
Just trying to clear his wave. Alfie and Valo going to look for the blue buff and try to ambush Jigen. Instead, Jigen will back and they will take the blue camp. However, Mr. Sneaky going to sneak away their blue buff in exchange. And Valo and Alfie not there to do anything about it.
I think that's still positive for the King's Court, even if it's Oh, goodbye,
Jeez.
Batman!
What? Did Batman exist? I didn't see Batman there.
I think he was there.
I didn't see Batman there. Batman he was never there.
Was he John Cena? He is fictional, you know. He's not real.
Scythro putting some damage. Scythro putting some damage on Ayabusha, and I would have thought the bombs would be more significant than that, even in the early game. Ult coming out of Ayabusha, stun good from Scythro. Valo looking for a rotation of his own, and it looks like Ayabusha's unaware. Stun down. Valo looking for some CC, but unable to get enough. And Ayabusha able to stay alive at half HP. Going to have to back though, and Valo taking control of the pace yet again here in game 2. Scythro looking around for some farm, and Ayabusha is going to find the kill on the Scythro. Good damage out from Scythro to put Ayabusha in critical care. But now Terra going to get a root down, able to find damage on the 2. Valo looking, and that's going to be the beads out of Valo as the powwow will connect onto this Kabrakan. Defender of Olympus going to eat some of the damage for Valo here. So Skunk just going to be looking to take some of the bastions, maybe put some gold in his pocket as the game settles back down a little bit here. 2-1 so far in the kill column here at 5 minutes. King's Court currently up 1,500 gold, and so far this is looking like a repeat of game 1.
Yeah, in terms of gold, definitely. But in terms of map play, I think that the crew has done a nice job adjusting to this mid. Oh, as we see the ult come out, as they are putting a significant amount of pressure on to this mid laner in Scythro. Even Batman rotates over to try to put pressure onto Scythro. Even
so much space for Valo to just take this buff.
Yeah, exactly. But we see Skunk in this game has not been down at all. So that is improved for the King's Court, but the mid lane is improved for the crew. So let's see which one of these strategies work out for which one of these teams.
Without a doubt, and Catfish going to help their mid laner get these mid camps, hoping to keep their mid laner in this game, but already a 2-level deficit in mid for the King's Court. Scythro just eating so much pressure from the crew. As you point out, Batman having made a rotation. Drew's Food has made multiple rotations. Sneaky is rotating. I'm half expecting G-Gun to just abandon farming and make his own rotation, because screw it, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's working out at the end of the day. We see Ayabusha with a lead, so definitely good for the crew to do that. Now, how does Ayabusha translate that lead? Where does it go? So we see 3 more people here in mid.
Oh! Pulled it back in immediately and instantly deleted. Drew's Food going to get credit for the kill, but Sneaky with a beautiful immediate pull. Ayabusha going to dash through the wall there. And taunt in from the Athena. Valo looking to try and get out. Not going to be good enough. Sneaky going to pick up the kill on Valo. And the crew, have completely turned around what looked to be something going the way of game 1. has now turned into a completely new game. Batman just trying to get away from Skunk. Too much damage. Batman slowed and Skunk going to get absolutely annihilated. Soloed by his lane opponent. Jigan hovering around, and Drew's Food going to move over, make sure they get the Jimmy. Able to take that Meteor, and Alfie going to step in here. Terra going to put the Monolith down, so making sure that he stays alive, making sure that Jagun stays alive as well. And Scythro just trying to farm here. Going to go ahead and ult the wave exactly for that purpose, and when you're as far behind as he is, it makes absolute sense. Vallo, this team trying to keep on grabbing these blue buffs, but 3 there for the crew to make sure that doesn't get stolen away for a 3rd time, as the King's Court are going to go ahead and take left mids now. Just so much going on as far as macro play. And I get it. These upper end games, usually you don't see a ton of kills. Last game was a kind of an anomaly in that regard, as far as I'm aware, seeing as many kills as we did. Is that one thing you do expect to see less of in this game, just less kills overall, or do you think that still goes the way of game 1?
No, I think game 1 was kind of an anomaly at the end of the day, because even though there's aggression and aggression and aggression, the higher end games, there's a purpose for every single kill that happens. Until you get like 8k up, 9k up, then you're just killing people for fun. So last game, kind of an anomaly. I wouldn't expect that to happen all season, as we see another all here.
Again, pulled back in and just gone. Ayabusha just going to flat ult him, and that is a 2.5 level advantage for this mid laner, as Scythro is being shown the door very quickly.
I think that's what we expected to see going into the game. We expected a lot of dodgy pressure here onto Scythro, especially picking Agni into, or I'm sorry, with them picking dodgy. Oh, so we see Alfie with the solo kill. It's exactly what we expected. We know that he's going to put pressure in mid, but if you're Scythro, you kind of got to do what you got to do early in this game to farm, or you end up like Ayabusha last game, looking for farm later and not finding it.
Absolutely, and at this rate, that may be exactly how that goes, as the Terra now looking to pull Scythro's beads. Nowhere is safe for this poor Agni.
We see BDK pulled.
BDK pulled by King's Court. Vallo with the ult out. Mr. Sneaky putting some good damage in the stun out, and Vallo going to be the one to die first, but Alfie will find Sneaky afterward, and a massive fight breaking out. King's Court going to find 1, going to find 2. The crew disengaging Jigen, just trying to get away now. Skunk rotating in, and now Alfie trapped. Alfie going to ult out. That way he is not trapped, but Catfish going to find Ayabusha. Catfish looking to dash in possibly. Skunk pushing forward, crew being pushed all the way back to their tower. Skunk with great damage. The output is there. Scythro will find Drew's Food. King's Court move up 8-5 in that total kill column, but that is a 3-1 fight in their favor.
What a fight for the King's Court. Not to mention, Skunk gets the solo kill on Batman in time to rotate into this fight that was occurring in solo lane. Really nice comms from the King's Court. Had to be. To get Skunk into that fight. And finally, we get a kill from Scythro. Scythro getting the kill with the gas. That's just the chef's kiss at the end of that fight. Really big for Scythro.
You know, when you get killed by nauseous fumes of all things, it almost starts to feel like BM. And you really start to feel the pressure of things just not going your way. So I really do. I feel for Ayabusha there, even though things have been going his way. Vallo going to get absolutely deleted, was in a little bit over his head there with Rom and the Terra and the Daji in the area. Skunk having to walk away lest he meet the same fate as his jungler. And Catfish going to dash into Ayabusha here. Good damage out, good taunt, but not enough for the stun. And that is going to be a pull in of the Athena. Beads out from the Agni, and that Catfish is going to die. And I feel like we're going to keep seeing that combo all game long. Maybe it'll get changed up at some point. You know, maybe at some point the Persephone ult will be first. But it's just going to be Dodgy or Persephone ult into whichever one wasn't used.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm surprised that Catfish did not end up buying beads to start the game. I know as a support main, oh, so selfish to get beads. But, you know, the big part of the Athena kit is the ability to taunt. You can't taunt if you're dead.
You can't taunt if you're dead. You can't taunt if you're stunned. There's so many different ways you can't taunt. And Batman gonna get found in his jungle by Skunk. Skunk chasing him down yet again. Just able to immune enough damage to live. Batman at less than 10 health is going to escape that fight and live to see another day.
Mechanics, that had to be one. It had to be one. He had a couple seconds to heal up, and he was a 10. He was a 10 by the time production got to it, so it had to be one. So close. Really nice Aegis at the end of the day. Here it is.
Side throat. Yeah.
Another one. Like DJ Khaled would say.
Oh, they almost killed our ADC? Hey, what if we kill their mid again?
The play. That's the play that the crew has wanted in this game. Just put Scythro in the dirt and hope that you end up okay across the map. But as we look across the map, the sidelines do not care that Scythro is getting obliterated in mid. 2.5 level leads. What are you gonna do?
I mean, you've got Medusa with as you pointed out, 2.5 level lead over the Rom. You've got the Osiris with a level 1.5 lead over the Mulan. You've even got Kabrakan with a level somewhere between a level and level and a quarter lead over this Daji as Alfie gets pulled into Jigen. Jigen, that's not the fight you want, buddy. That's not the fight you think it is.
They're both just chipping away with this mystical mail, chipping away at each other.
It may be the fight Jigen thinks it is. As even 3 levels down, this Mulan is putting out some serious damage into that Osiris. And now, big fight over in mid. The beacon's only halfway charged, guys. We can chill a little bit here, right? Taunt?
No.
A taunt out from Catfish onto Ayubusha. Side throw! Where does health go? What is the health bar? What?
He is in sore shape here, but you know what? I'm impressed with
rolling
Scythro.
away, Skunk with the damage and the kill. As Valo, I don't think that was needed, buddy. But Catfish going to be stunned out by the terror. This is insane.
There's a lot of stuff happening on the map, and we're pulling an objective finally. I love this. But I think that might be more the meta. You know, we were talking earlier about these Abyss games usually being lower in number of kills and things of that nature. But, you know, maybe with this 9.5 revert, maybe this is more the meta. We're going to see more of a, you know, team deathmatch kind of style. You know, it's still very new, so it could be a lot of things here.
Looking for a stun, finds Drew's food. Drew's food finds half his health gone. The ult kind of miss. Going to go through the uprights of everybody. Mr. Sneaky going into the powwow. Beads out from Valo. Valo gets his own ultimate down. And Valo going to find Drew's food for the kill. Ayubusha caught back in a little bit by that taunt. Beads going to be expended by this Persephone. And now things going to calm back down here in mid, at least for the moment. Scythro going to zone Ayubusha off. As it looks like these court, they're going to just go ahead and take his Pyroman.
Yeah, really nice rotation there from the left side. Rotating in when they know that the Daji ult's up. They know that the Persephone ult's up. Naturally, what does the crew do when those two ults are up? They ult Scythro. So they can win a fight on the back of it and end up with this Pyromancer. Really well played by the King's Court here.
Without a doubt, very good mid-game adjustment by the King's Court to really play off of that. Jigen fighting over the Scepter, not going to pick it up. Alfie putting good damage into Jigen as well, but Jigen not giving up on the fight quite yet. able to find good return damage into Alfie. Alfie with a 3-level lead
Uh-oh.
and help from Valo, however, they're going to find that kill every day of the week. It's just nothing that, that Jigen can do about that.
No, and I think it'll perhaps lead into the solo tower as well.
Looking
What
for
are we
the
fighting here?
beacon. They get the beacon, and now that's going to be beads out of the Medusa for the ultimate from AU Basha, as AU Basha able to pick up Catfish. Skunk not able to get away. Batman going to pick that kill up, and the Astral Barrage going to land. Scythro takes some serious damage from that, but Valo going to blink up the wall. They will find Mr. Sneaky. Valo going to find Ayabusha. Ayabusha should go down. Never mind! Ayabusha somehow escapes. Drew's food trying to get away. Batman not going to be able to shut out beats from Batman. Batman not able to get out of there, unable to find enough time for the roll. Drew's food is going to fall as well. Jigen into the fight late. Stunned out. Alfie with the ult. Scythro chained by the ultimate. Jigen unable to find the kill. Alfie is going to find Jigen again, and Scythro will live with the smallest sliver of health through an entire fight.
Very well played by Scythro. So much poise there. Having no health, having no actives, Alfie eats the ult to try to keep Scythro alive, knowing that in this fight, his damage is so important. And it ends up as the deicide on the side of the King's Court. Such a good play. Such a good play here from the backline of the King's Court. But if we look at the start of the fight, it was kind of, the backline kind of forced their hand there to force Valo and to force Alfie into that fight on the back of the beacon. That was the original plan, was to play for the beacon, but that fight didn't go the best. The rotation ended up being perfect.
Without a doubt, and sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes that's exactly how the cookie crumbles, is the fight may not go well initially, but sometimes the cavalry will arrive.
Usually. In these games, it happens more often than not.
I can see that, yeah.
But as we move into potentially the late game here, King's Court has a 5k gold advantage with only a 5 kill advantage as well.
Without a doubt, King's Court have been playing the map really, really well. They have 2 Fire Giants and a Primal Fury. As I don't think that's right. King's Court, however, Skunk is going to fall. Skunk is going to fall, and Valo is going to find